Welcome back. What we're going to be talking about today is the unbelievably amazing, iconic song of Tom Sawyer. We're going to go through the chord progression, and as long as I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and do the keyboards and the solo. So one thing about Rush that I absolutely love is their soundscape. Three guys. Everybody's said this a million times, you've heard a million times. Three guys make a tremendous amount of noise. For three guys, a lot of sound. Well, what adds to that sound with the three guys is, first off, you have Geddy Lee, who just is absolutely the king of setting the foundation of the rhythm section on that bass. I mean, just absolutely masterful. Then, of course, you have the professor, Neil Peart, who, he doesn't even need other instruments. His drum by itself, by themselves, sound musical. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I watched him do it was just the drum track. The cameras were overhead, and he was doing YYZ. And I was thinking, you don't even need other instruments. This is a song by itself. That's how good Neil Peart was. But to me, the secret sauce of them is Alex Lifeson, the most underrated guitar player ever in this world. Alex uses such a bizarre and weird collection of chords. And then when you add to the fact it's only three guys doing all this, it could not work any other way except for those three guys. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, we're going to break down the solo. We're going to break down the chord progression, which is just absolutely brilliant. I do make a couple little changes here and there, and it's not because I'm changing his music. It's just because I think like Trace Taylor. I do not think like Alex Lifeson. So it's just a couple little twerky notes here, and I will tell you where they're at. This is what I play. He adds this note, doesn't add this note, or whatever it is. But it's just how I hear the song and how I play it. Because a lot of times when I'm on stage, I don't really think about what's going on. Case in point, we were doing Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. And when it gets to this solo part right here, I played something totally different at the show. I don't know why. It's just sometimes how my brain thinks. So it is what it is. But here we go. Now, like I said, I'm going to be breaking down the chords of this, which I think are absolutely phenomenal. Because I do a lot of stuff on chord progressions if you watch my channel on keyboards and stuff. Because chord progressions to me are what make the song. How you layer the music and the soundscape of it. So with that being said, he starts this song off, as everybody knows. The song starts with, he comes in with the big keyboard stab, the blah. I'll get into that later. And then you go into the first verse. But then the guitar comes in and he plays this. Let me switch the pickup back. And I just want to apologize. This is a very high gain channel. This is what I use live, and it does not relate very well running direct because it is very gainy and it sounds absolutely massive through our PA system. It's a little gainy on the when you're running it direct because it seems to, I don't know, add something when you're going direct. So I apologize for that. So let's break this down. He starts the song, he's doing an E power chord. And what he's doing here, you hit the E string twice, and then you play a power chord, an E power chord, and what I play is root octave fifth. Makes the chords a little fatter. All right, and yes, there's a million videos about this and people going through it. My main purpose is going through the chords. The reason I say this is because I've seen a lot of videos, nobody really tells you what the chords are, and I watched this other video, and the guy's got an amazing channel, and he's a hell of a guitar player, but he was going through the solo, and I was like, hang on. Am I playing this wrong? Because that sounds nothing like what I play. And then I went back and listened to the album, and I was like, okay, something's not right here. Either he's incredibly wrong, or I don't know. So I went back into the album, and I played it to the album. What I was playing was correct. So then I started looking at some tab, and I was finding all these different weird tabs, and I was like, all right, well, let me just go through it, break it down, how I do it, the chords, but that's the main thing here is the chord structure. So he comes off with this double hit on the E, just palm muted. And then we have the E5 power chord. And just so you know, on this particular song, it makes it a lot easier if you use like a jazz pick, something a little smaller than a standard pick, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Now, our next chord here, this is going to be an E7 suspended chord, all right? And what we're doing is in the 7th fret, on the A, D, and G string, you're stacking all these 3 fingers in the 7th fret. And what you're doing is you're reaching down to the B string at the 5th fret and fretting it here. And then you leave this E open when you hit the chord. And that's what I'm talking about. Listen how brilliant this sound is. Absolutely fantastic. And that's what makes Rush so good, and that's why I like Alex Lifeson. I would never in a million years have thought to use that chord here. I'd have just, played a regular old chord. So, we have this E7 suspended chord right here. So we come off the E5 to the E7 suspended chord. When you hit the double hit on the E. Okay, now we're going to jump down here. Now, what he's playing here is an E minor 7. You have the E, of course, to hit, the palm muted E. And this is one of the little changes that I make. I do this, I play an E minor 11 here, because I just like the color of it a little better. Adding that 11 there, to me, just fattens it up a little more. But then again, this is just how I think. When I grab this chord, this is just naturally how I grab it. And that's why I do it that way. So what we've got here is on the middle 2 strings here at the 2nd fret, on the D and G, you want to fret them, stack them in the same fret. And on the B and E, take your other 2 fingers, 3 and 4, and put them in the 3rd fret. And run them down like that. And you can actually play this, just these bottom 4. You can actually throw the A in there since we have an A in this chord. Or you can strum the whole thing. It really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. You can do it however you want to do it. Because this is an E chord. So you can hit all 6 strings. So what we've got to that point is this. I'm sorry. Which brings us to the next chord, which is a D7 sus chord. And what we're doing here is we're just taking this chord and we're shifting it down. And on this one, I mute this bottom string with the tuft of my first finger, finger number 1 on the left hand. And I'm literally just playing these 4 strings here. So again, brilliant, absolutely freaking brilliant how he does that. All right, so the verse continues on. He keeps singing and he keeps playing that same riff. But then the riff changes a little bit and it changes into this. You go back to the E5, of course. Now right here, we're going to jump down here and grab this E and go. All right. Now this is just, if you take a D chord and you just slide it up 1 full step. Then we're just going to grab at the 5th fret on the E string, on the 1st string. That's all it is. Now we're going to move back up to this E sus chord. Now right here on this E sus chord, when he plays it into this section where there's no vocal, this is what he does. Right there. Listen to this chord. Absolutely freaking brilliant. You don't have to play the bottom E if you don't want to. That is just brilliant. Now what this is he's changed this chord over and he's playing an E sus flat 6 9 when he does this. Then we're going to jump back down to this E minor 11. Then we're going to jump over here to the C here. So what it sounds like all together, that section sounds like this. And this is where we get to the C. And this is where we start our walk down right here. Now on the walk down, let's see if I can clean this up a little bit. On this walk down here, while we're holding in the 3rd fret on the B and E string, play the C, we're gonna arpeggiate this out. And then it continues back into the riff. Right here, we're going to walk it all the way down on the E string. So we're going to hold these here at the 3rd fret. Bring it down to this E. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the second part of the riff to that point. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, now we're back into the section where we're doing the walk up, where he says, what you say about a company is what you say about society, I think. I don't sing the song. So what we've got here is we're going to bring this back up. Now this is a little tricky actually, because during this whole time we're playing this, we're fretting this off at the 3rd string, 1, 2, 3, at the 3rd string on the 4th fret. We are holding this B the entire time we're playing this riff, all right? And this is the riff that does this. It's that part there. And again, I apologize for all the distortion because Rush doesn't use that much distortion. But I do when we do it live because it sounds awesome through this channel. So what we've got here is we're holding this B. This is a pedal tone. It drones the entire time we're playing this riff, all right? Now, I've seen a lot of guys do this. Okay? And that is not correct. How he plays it, and this is what I hear. Now you can fact check me on this if you're a fact checking type of person. What I hear is him playing this, and I think it's correct. And then again, when I watch a lot of videos, this part kind of gets skipped. So we're doing the E here to that B, and we're fretting off at the 2nd fret on the 5th string. We're hitting that B, okay? Then we're going to come up here and we're going to fret off this F sharp, and we're going to keep fretting here on the 5th fret. I mean on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Then we're going to jump over to this G shape here at the 6, 3, and then at 5, 2. All right, and this is what it sounds like. I'm going to do this slow. Then we got the A, where we're going to fret off right here on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Okay, now right here, he goes back down to the E. He does not go up to the E, and I see everybody go up to the E. he actually goes back down to the E here because the bass line goes up. Because you got to have these 3 notes. And if you go to the E here, you don't have the 3 notes. You've got 2. So he goes down while the bass line goes up. You perceive it because of the bass line as it all going up, but it's not. He actually goes down. So he goes back down to the E. Raps on that B, all right? Then we hit, so make sure I have all this in order. Right here we go to the C, so we're at 5. When I say 5-3, I mean the 5th string, 3rd fret. We're at 5-3. Then here we're at 4-2. Then we're going to fret these off. So on the 4th and 5th string, we're in the 2nd fret. Hit that B, back to the A. All right? So it sounds like this. I'm going to do this slowly. That is that riff. Now, I'm pretty sure that's completely freaking accurate from what I've seen him play this live and from what I can hear. Because when I watch a lot of videos, they're not playing it that way. And when I see a lot of tabs, they're not playing it that way. They're more of this type of thing. Well, actually, they go like that. And I do not believe that is correct. I do believe it is this. And if I'm not correct, it's a hell of a lot cooler anyway, so learn it that way. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that one, because it's Alex Lifeson. He's not going to do something as arbitrary and as simple as doing this. He's not going to do that. He's going to add the textures of all the other chords in there, all the other notes. So I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. So after we get out of that part, then that's where it goes into, we hit this B here. It's just a regular B5 power chord. This is where the world is the world where love and life is deep, all right? So it sounds like this. Okay, so what we've got here, let's break this down. We're hitting a B5 power chord, and what we've got is root 5th octave. Makes your chord fatter. Then we're just going to do an A, so I'll bar off an A. Now you can just reach up and grab a G here if you want, and it sounds totally fine. Sounds totally fine. What he does is he'll play the B because it's Alex Lifeson. He bars off the A, and he just reaches up and grabs the G. So this is basically an A/G chord. Right? And you hear how contrasty the tones are? That's what makes him Alex Lifeson. Because these are things I would never think of. I would do this. I would do that. Alex Lifeson would not do that. That's why he's great. He does this. All right? And he reaches up and grabs that G string. And you can grab it with your 3rd finger, or if you're more of a bluesy type of guy, which I do a lot of times, and I'm not a bluesy type of guy, is I reach over and grab it with my thumb. It's just kind of easier sometimes just to reach over and grab it with your thumb. All right? So this is the part where, it goes, the world is love. Okay, now at that point, that's where the keyboard section comes in. I'm going to leave that part up to my wife. And that's where you get the do 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 do. Okay, during that part, while he's doing that, he will play. You got this little F sharp E. Then he comes in and plays the riff also. And I see this wrong a lot of times too, all right? And I'm sure a lot of people play this correctly, but I've seen this wrong a lot of times. This is what's actually played here. I see this being played a lot of times. That would be wrong. If you're playing it that way, you're playing it wrong. So what he's playing here is we're up here on 4, 7, and then we're reaching up here to 5, 9. All right, then we jump down, and now we're jumping down to 4, 6, 5, 7. Then we're jumping down to 4, 4, 5, 5. All right, we repeat that. But right here, instead of doing this, we go to 5, 5, 6, 7. One more time. That's actually what's played on the keyboards and on the guitar. Now, a little tip for playing this, and again, this is just a Trace Taylor thing. This is just the way I play guitar. It's a nuance for me. If we're pick slanting this down, holding our pick this way, if I start down, I'm down here. So my next stroke would be an up. So I got to jump all the way over. Doesn't work. That is an impossible thing to do. And that's a lot of wasted movement, all right? Now, if you pick slant up and you pick slant down, you start with an upstroke, you're already set up for the next hit. But the problem is now I have to jump back over to get another pick up. And it does not work that way for me. And it may work that way for you, it doesn't. But if you take your pick and you turn it this way, all of a sudden we got something to play with. Because now we can play in between the strings. And we're going to, our first pick is down. And guess what? I'm already out. So now I just got to bring it back in and play up, all right? When I pick up, I'm not going to pick up and come all the way through the string. I'm going to brush it up this way. Because when I do that, it's going to move me to a pick slant down position and set me up for the next hit. Oi, it's just insane to me, all the pick slanting stuff that's going on in the world right now. But the only reason I'm mentioning this is because I was trying to play it all down, all up, middle, and I was actually having a very hard time. I just could not get it to work. So I thought, well, I'm gonna have to change it. I'm gonna have to kind of do kind of a hybrid thing in between the two to make this work, and it worked. So what we got here is we're gonna start with our pick slant up. We're gonna pop out, come down, and when we do this, we're actually gonna rotate a little bit. That's gonna pop us back out, then we're gonna be set up for that one. Boom, then. Now granted, these are extremely exaggerated motions I'm doing. You do not do that. You do this. Let me get a better sound on it. You do that. And it's very minute, the movements I'm making here when I'm doing this. It's very minute. But that seems to work better for me. When I tried it all down pick slanting, I just kept getting caught. When I tried it all up pick slanting, I just kept getting caught. When I tried it flat, I kept getting caught. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to rotate this one out. So I'm actually doing, like I said, these are exaggerated. I'm actually doing this when I'm doing this. But that's very exaggerated, granted. And that's why I said it's actually easier if you use like a jazz pick, something with a very small tip on it. You can hold it tight and your movements are micro as compared to using a full-size pick. Another reason for that in a minute. So again, this part. That's how you play that part correctly, all right? And like I said, I've seen this a million times. That is not correct. That is correct. It's on the second time. All right, so that wraps up pretty much the entire guitar part for this minus the solo, okay? The song is awesome, the chords are awesome, the progression is awesome. Everything about this song is freaking awesome because it's Rush, and Rush is awesome. And I don't think I could overuse the word awesome anymore if I tried. So, okay, this brings us on to said guitar solo. Now, like I said, I watched this guy playing it who's got a huge channel. The guy's a phenomenal guitar player. Got 5 billion subscribers. And he's just a hell of a guitar player. And when I was watching him play it, I was like, oh my God, I've been playing this wrong all these years. What the hell? No, he's wrong. And that really just kind of shocked me because the guy's a crazy, crazy good guitar player. And I was like, oh my God, what is he hearing? And so I went back and I played it with him. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty correct, except for a couple little tidbits here. So to go ahead and clarify a few things up, because there's a couple of sections in here that I see that people normally get wrong again. And we're going to clear this up. So the solo starts, as you know, here. That's the beginning of the solo, okay? So what we've got here is we're going to start here on third string. We're going to go 1, 4, 1, 4, 7. This is Alex Lifeson. If you're not doing this, you're not playing Alex Lifeson. You've got crazy vibrato he uses on everything, all right? So this next little riff here, we're going to be right here. And basically, we're playing this, we're at the 7, 9, 10. Oh my God, brain is fading on me. And it sounds like this. Now right there is where I add the one extra note in. That's the extra note that I add in. Right there. That's the extra note. So he plays one less note there. The only reason I play it that way is because it flows better for me. That's the only reason I do it that way. I'm not trying to rewrite Alex Lifeson's music. It flows better for me because it has a better feel for me to do it that way. It just works better for me. But it's still completely accurate. I just add the one note. I just add that. All right, then we're going to jump down and we're going to do our regular little riff here, which is, a big part of the song here. On string 6, the E string, we're going to go 5, 7. Then we get to string 5, the A string, 5. Now right here, this is where I see a lot of things wrong. And I think, I'm pretty damn sure I'm correct. You can go 5, 4, 2, 0, 2, harmonic. Or you can go to 4 and bend up to 5. Same exact thing, all right? Artificial harmonic. Now right here is where I see so many things differ. And it's kind of hard to decipher what he's doing here because it's all pick harmonics that are kind of all over the place, the whole thing is. And what he's doing is this. All right, and he's doing it all with pick harmonics. The whole thing is pick harmonics. Tell you what, let me pull this up, because this can get very noisy if we're not careful. Let me mute this out a little bit. So what he does is he goes. All right, and what he'll do is he'll hit at 5 and do a hammer on the 7 pull off. Then we go to 3, and like I said, when I go like 3, 7, I mean 3rd string, 7th fret. Then back to 2, 5. Then we'll go to 3, 7, 3, 6. Then we'll jump up here to 4, 7. Then we're back onto the 3rd string. We go 6, 7. Then we go on 2, 5 twice. And what I seen him do is he does a pull off here, a hammer on pull off. Got to pick this out. And then he'll hammer on here from 6 to 7. And that's how he plays that part there. All right, when we get out of there, then we jump up to here. We come all the way up to the 15th fret. And we're going to go 15. This is on string 2, the B string, 15. Then we're going to go 12, 14, 15. And then 12 on the E string on 1. Then we come back to 2, 14. Then we do that again. Now right here, now we'll jump down to the 3rd string, 14th fret. Then we go to 2, 12, then 2, 15. And we bend up. Now here we go to 1, 16. And we bend up again. And this is where we do our little riff on 16, 17, and 19 on the E string. Just a little quick little riff here. Then we go up to 19 and we bend. All right, then we go back into our main riff here. Then we go to this part. Then he goes to, but his mind is not for rent. Don't put him down as arrogant. Put him down as arrogant. Reserve the quiet defense. Writing out the day's events. Then we go all back through this B section again. And then we repeat back. All the way back through this, where we have the B pedal tone. And we repeat all through that whole section again. All right. Then you go back to the world is the world where love and life is complete, I think. The world is the world is that's what it is. Then he does this thing at the end where he exit the warrior, today's Tom Sawyer, he gets high on you and the energy you trade, you get right on to the friction of the day, something like that. And what we do here is, while the keyboards will do the do-do-do-do-do, the wife will be doing all that stuff. But what they do here is he will do on the outro part of this, he does the, all right, and he'll play that all the way till they get to the end. Then when they get to the end, this is how they end this live. They go. And they retard it all the way down to the end, all right? Now, again, one of my own little Trace Taylorisms is when I'm doing this part here, this, I hold that B again. Because that B is so prevalent in this song. On that part, I hold that part again, that B, just to kind of give it that little more of a little tonal change there. And you can hear that B ringing on top. I just like it because it sounds very cool. But you can do it, you know. And when I'm on my fractal and I'm using my Mesa Boogie, my really heavy tone, then I do this. Which actually sounds damn good. It really sounds cool when you do that. So that is the song. That is the chord progression. That is a breakdown of the chords. If you ever wanted to know, what the hell freaking chord is he playing? Well, now you know. And this is just one I wanted to do. Like I said, there's a 10,000 Tom Sawyer videos out there, but I see a lot of things that there was a lot of little quirky stuff in it that's just not exactly correct. And then nobody ever really talks about what the chords are. And if you watch my channel, I'm really big into the chord. I do a lot of chord progression stuff. Everybody does guitar solos. Nobody really does chords and progressions and breaks down the chords and what they are. And I do a lot of that on this channel because as great of a innovator as Eddie Van Halen was, great of a soloist, you take out his rhythms, it all sucks. So the rhythm's a big part that a lot of people seem to ignore. So I'm gonna wrap my part up right there, and now we're gonna send it over to the wife, who is going to do the keyboard section. This should be cool. I'm very awesome about the wife being on my video. The first time ever she's done one of my music videos. This is gonna be badass.
All right, so here's how you play the keyboard section to Tom Sawyer. I'm using a Modi X or a Montage, and the sounds are just stock sounds that we found. We split the keyboard. The left side, the lower register, is going to be pad bright. And then the sound that we used for the right side is Synthly Digital. Yes, I made notes off to the side. This is my first time doing a video, so here we go. But starts out super easy, of course. It's pad bright. We're gonna do the E. This is how the song starts. Amazing. Then we get up to the riff. The riff is what everybody notices about the song, and it's also the speed of it, to me, made it very, very challenging. But here we go. That's the riff. That's what everybody thinks of when they hear Tom Sawyer. So how I did it was I tried to break it down just a little bit. So the first riff, I broke it down into 3 and 3. So it starts out A, F sharp, G sharp. You can look at the piano roll and see it. First half. And then the second part is going to be E, F sharp, D. That's it. That's the first half of the riff. Second half of the riff is going to be A, F sharp, G sharp again. And then the last half of it is going to be E, D, B. That's it. It's easier for me to think of it that way. Chunks of 3, chunks of 3. You're going to hold the last note. You're going to hold the D at the end of the first riff, and you're going to hold the A at the beginning of the second riff. Oops, sorry. That's it. All right, at the end of the song, it's the same part as the first riff, but instead of going up to the D or down to the D, he holds it at the E. And then he does it again, but this time he kind of rolls the A, F sharp, and the E. Then we're moving up. Now on this one, he changes it again, just a little bit. It's going to be A, F sharp, G sharp again, and then E, F sharp, but then we're going to go back and it's going to be a D, E. Watch the row. And then the wheel. Yes. That is it. That is Tom Sawyer. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will try to be in some more videos and hopefully not be quite so terrified. Thanks for watching.